We are ready to start a new story. This story is a little bit longer than the ones we've done so far, except the one about the seven wonders. That one was a very long one. But this one is on page 38 of your textbook, and we have that familiar space. This is where our four doors will go in a later video, so that is supposed to be there. You also have your annotation key, just as a reminder of the colors that we're using. So I want to zoom in and read this passage. This passage has 4 paragraphs. It has 4 sections. Those are called paragraphs. And let's just read through it. We're not going to annotate or anything right now. I just want to read. This one is called Two Great Statesmen. America has had many presidents, but 2 of them are often compared: Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy. Both presidents were assassinated while serving as president. Both men had controversial ideas and dedicated enemies. They supported civil rights of all people. Lincoln was a Republican who served 5 years. Lincoln was born in 1809 in a log cabin in Frontier, Kentucky. He was president during the Civil War. His appearance was old and grizzled. There was a conspiracy to kill President Lincoln shortly after the end of the Civil War. He was 56 years old when he died. Lincoln was the 16th president. Kennedy, on the other hand, was a Democrat who served 3 years. He was born in Massachusetts in 1917 to a wealthy family. As president, he appeared young, polished, and distinguished. Kennedy was killed by a lone gunman at the age of 46. Kennedy was the 35th president. Both men contributed greatly to America's history, each in his own way. They loved their country and her people, and they worked to make life better for the underprivileged. They are forever joined in America's history because they gave their lives for their country. Okay, let's go back and do some annotating. And I'll get my highlighters here. I need the green one for topic. Be careful with topic. I know up to this point we've just highlighted the title and been done. But in this case, the title is not the topic. Two great statesmen. Statesmen are people who serve their countries. So, two great statesmen could refer to anybody, any males who have served their countries. We could be talking about Dr. Martin Luther King. We could talk about Cesar Chavez. We could be talking about Winston Churchill. It doesn't even say that they're American statesmen. So in this case, the title is not the topic. We have to work a little bit more for the topic. Who are the two great statesmen that we're talking about in this passage? We need to narrow that down. And the two great statesmen are Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy. So I want to make sure that I get the right topic. Don't assume that it will always be the title. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. So anytime I see, actually let's get a main idea that I think is important to do next. So what are they telling me about these two men? What is the main point of this article? We could say, and I'm going to write it in this area, even though we'll cover that up later, that's okay. The main idea is that Lincoln and Kennedy are often compared because they are similar. They're the same in a lot of ways, comma, but they were very different men. Do you see how this sentence is telling me that they were similar in some ways? They were compared, but they weren't the same people. Each of them had their own characteristics. They contributed to our history in different ways. So Lincoln and Kennedy are often compared, but they were very different men. So let's go ahead and mark our key words. Obviously, Lincoln and Kennedy would be keywords. Also, I've told you the word both. So anytime you're seeing the word both, and let me try that again. I don't want to mark it out. I want to highlight it. So let me zoom a little bit. America's had many presidents. Lincoln and Kennedy. Here's a both. Here's a both. They would be a clue that we're talking about both of them at one time. Okay, here we're talking about just Lincoln. So everywhere I see Lincoln, there's he. That's referring to Lincoln. Here's Lincoln. Here's Lincoln. There's he. So that paragraph, that whole paragraph is just about President Lincoln. This paragraph is just about President Kennedy. There's a he, that means Kennedy. There's he again, Kennedy. Here's the word Kennedy, and there's the word Kennedy again. So this whole paragraph is just about Kennedy. Now think about that Venn diagram we did on cats and dogs, where we did only cats and only dogs. Can you think about what this diagram will look like? On one side we'll have only Lincoln, and then on the other side we'll have only Kennedy. And in the middle we will have both. So you see how this is showing you the structure of the text. They is another word for both. They, their. That is telling me how they were the same. They were referring to both. Okay, let's go back. We marked some keywords. Let's do some details about these men. So let me zoom on in here. We've already named the topic. Both presidents were assassinated. That means they were killed while serving as president. That's important also. They had controversial ideas. People argued with them a lot. They had people who hated them, dedicated enemies. They supported civil rights. Lincoln, this is only Lincoln, was a Republican who served 5 years. Born in 1809 in a log cabin in Frontier, Kentucky. His family was very poor. He was president during the Civil War. He looked old and grizzled. There was a conspiracy to kill him. He was 56 years old when he died, and he was the 16th president. Kennedy, on the other hand, there's another keyword, guys, that I missed. On the other hand is showing you a difference. So we want to mark that one. Sorry, back to the pink one. A Democrat. 3 years he served. He was born in Massachusetts in 1917 to a wealthy family. He was young, polished, and distinguished. Very handsome, dapper-looking man. He was killed by a lone gunman, not a conspiracy. At least most people agree it was not a conspiracy. There's argument on that. At the age of 46, he was the 35th president. Now we're back to both. Both men contributed to America's history. They loved their country and her people. They worked to make life better for the underprivileged. They are forever joined in America's history because they gave their lives for their country. So this annotation is complete. We will do our 4 doors and our Venn diagram in the next video, but I will see you for some vocabulary also before we get to that. So in the next video we will move forward with some new vocabulary words. There are quite a few in this chapter. I'll see you soon.